Ladies and gentlemen, this time at Scooty, welcome back because this is the first of its kind. Tichibudisa video trip at Blufffield SDA Church. This video is going to be streamed on all platforms, including mine, Evangelist Marufu, and Nevamo, Afanananas and Celebs, etc., etc. We are introducing a show that we are going to run for this whole week in the VAR. You might need me to explain to you it's not a way. Kubora kune inonzi VAR inonzi video assistant referee. Vanoona bhora mafanatics eMan U, Arsenal and Chi, they well understand what this is. Kuti pakanzi apa paita go, apa paita free kick, apa paita chi, unobva waenda pavideo, obva wanotarisa, obva waanalyzer, and then obva waane verdict. After the debate rakanetsa, which was watched by almost everyone, Evangelist Marufu na Apostle TF Chiwenga, we decided that we should do a VAR podcast, which is what I would call verification, analysis, and revelation. We are now doing a follow-up. You could fact check and see what is Mvangeri. Does it hold water? Does it stand? Does it make both biblical and theological sense? Or Mvangeri vaingo taura or taura? The same applies na Apostle TF Chiwenga. So with me here, you know Mvangeri.
Zigo.
Evangelist Marufu.
Zigo.
Murise.
Zigo is a journalist.
Hanzi Evangelist vachazwa nekutendeuka. Vakambobva kumapostori izvezvo vakuSDA vachabva ikoko vakananga Apostle TF Chiwenga Jesus Revelation Ministries.
JRM, yeah.
Can you just assure us kuti hamuchatenderera?
No. Chinotendeuza munhu ichokwadi charinganzo.
Ichokwadi.
Yeah.
And then on my right here, ndina Mr. Nyaoma. We love to call him Professor Nyaoma, nekuti zvavanenge vachita panapa ndezvemaprofessor, and we have invited him here as well. He is going to be helping us doing this VAR. Professor, welcome.
Thank you very much, Zigo.
Wherever kwamuri kubva uko.
Aiwa, kwakanaka Marufu.
Yes, no fara. Thank you very much.
Yes, takafara zvikuru tichiona
wonderful
your video with Apostle Chiwenga. It was very, very good, very, very engaging. And I thought that we could also come and do a fact check on what you guys were saying. Yes.
Powerful.
I don't know. It was very, very good. Very good morning.
Yeah.
So we are inviting Apostle TF Chiwenga as well to be part of this podcast. We can do it either virtually or we can do it in person. Whatever the case, we can do it this week or maybe later in the future. Logistics but on this set, we are going to show the roast of Trevor Noah. The roast of. So this can actually be the roast of Evangelist Marufu in person and Apostle TF Chiwenga in absentia.
Okay.
Yes. Saka hapana favoritism.
Okay.
Hapana kuti uyu inandiswe kuSDA. Saka ndinoarosta without any reservation. I don't know where Professor Nyaoma comes from as a denomination. So
no, I'm coming actually as a theological referee. Yes, and we are going to be very, very fair in assessing, and we are looking at the facts. We're looking at the facts. Do they make sense theologically? Do they make sense doctrinally? What is being said within the moment of debate? Because sometimes when people are caught up in the moment of debate, and sometimes spirits come, and you don't know whether it's the spirit of truth or the spirit of error. So within the spirit of debate, there are things that are said in both sides. Some were very factual, some were not factual. So I'm here to help and to assist, to show.
So before we start, you are coming from a theological angle, which means you are somewhat of a scholar.
Yes, I'm a scholar, yes.
Biblical scholar or just a scholar?
No, I'm a biblical scholar.
Okay.
I actually specialize in a very, very specialized area, which is known as an intertestamental period. But what it means also is I can talk to both Old Testament theologians and New Testament theologians, and also converse with church historians and also, practical theology. Wana Marufu na Apostle Chiwenga.
And my credentials, are they verified? Or
well, yes, they are. They are solid.
So what is the space of theology being a scholar? Because this has been demonized, especially millenniums, You just read the Bible at home, and they don't want to acknowledge the work of Mascola. They just believe that revelation and vamwe vakuto demonize Bible school or whatever way of orientation is it's still relevant. Or zvinobvisa mweya atiterere matheologians atiterere mascholars munofana ngopiwa revelation.
So it's very, very deceptive. On one end, it's very deceptive. On another, I think it means well. But we need to reconcile these two. Because the journey of the development of Christianity is a journey where there are people who are strong in faith and there are people who are strong in reason. But this is reconciled by a theologian called Anselm, who then highlights that true understanding of God comes through a perfect balance between reason and faith.
Okay.
So he then says, I reason because I have faith, and I have faith because I can reason.
Okay.
So that balance now. And also because the critique that you find also on religion, there are many, many religious institutions throughout the whole world that are really money-making machines.
Yes.
And because they are money-making machines, they wouldn't want you to think. When God in Isaiah then says, come now, let us reason together.
Okay.
No. Kunongoda reason. Kunongoda mweya. It's as if the Holy Spirit forbids
Thinking.
logical reasoning. Yeah. It's as if kwenda ku church. And again, this is why we are also making Christianity or religious institutions not attractive to people who are very, very academic in their approach to life. Because ukaenda ku church unowanza ku church ndekuvanhu vasingafunge. It's as if when you go to church, right, taku church brain panze. Wozotora brain zenyu makwenda. But it's not like that. And the consistency of impression that you find in that is would you want to go and see a doctor who's not well trained?
No.
Would you want to go and see a doctor who looks for your heart? Yeah, in your brain. No one wants. Do you want to go to a mechanic who doesn't know where to find, tank refuel? No one. No. When it comes to anything that works in life, we want to go to professionals. The moment we come to religion, you don't want to go to professionals. You want to go to someone who has a now international ministry who says, no, forget about thinking, and let's all jump in the spirit. So what you then find is when you go to churches and denominations, we have two philosophical presuppositions.
Philosophical
presuppositions. Tine pfungwa mbiri or three. Yekutanga yacho tine machechi who are influenced by a guy called René Descartes. Descartes comes in and says, cogito ergo sum. That is to say,
I appreciate. I think Munyairo in the pound Peter man. Asangana po. So yeah.
So Descartes says, I think, therefore I am. Yeah. So there are churches whose fundamental foundation is in thinking.
Yes.
These are churches where church kune Sunday school, kune Sabbath school, kune chi. They focus on thinking. They focus on teaching. They are head focusing. They focus on putting knowledge in your head. Do you know? And what you see also in the debate between Apostle and Evangelist is both of them are moving towards thinking. And it's very, very good to move towards thinking. Then there is another guy called Friedrich Schleiermacher who comes in and says, sense your ego sum. I feel, therefore I am. So there are religious institutions that they don't care about what you know. They care. Ego sum. I feel, therefore. Varungoda kufila chete. Akaenda kuchechi kazi maparidzi kunzi hapana. But we felt the spirit. We felt the spirit. So when you combine these two, you then see that some speak from the emptiness of their heads and the fullness of their hearts. Others also speak from the fullness of their heads and emptiness of their hearts. Yet religious institutions must then balance the two. I have faith so that I can reason. I have reason so that I have faith. And when you balance that, you have a perfect Christian.
Since your ego is amazing.
Yeah, I think I appreciate. I think it's It's a good start. Thanks.
They move by feelings. They know shanda murudo kana uchida mskana.
Yeah.
Some feelings. I go sense your egos up.
Powerful.
Anyway, before we get into the fact checking, before we look at what was said in the debates, overall, how did you see the debate, the way it was handled? Maybe technically, in whatever, would you point out?
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm very, very happy and a big pam to you, Evangelist, and a big pam also to you, Apostle Chiwenga. As Zimbabweans, we are like 700 years late.
Okay.
Yes. These debates on Sabbath and Sunday did not start with Evangelist Marufu or Apostle Chiwenga. These debates have always been there. They are not the first ones to do it. They are not the last ones to do it. Martin Luther, the reformer, also participated in a debate with Professor Eke on Sabbath, and of course it involved many things, but the Sabbath was one of the issues that they also discussed. And you also find again Martin Luther, the reformer, he really got into these debates, and then very in our own time and in our own generation, you find one of the leading scholars on issues to do with Sabbath was called Samuel Bakioki. He died a couple of years ago. He had an interesting discussion with a guy called John Lewis. Again, when you look at, it was very interesting when I had, when I was listening to this debate, seeing these two guys, I thought, I saw something like this that happened some years ago, almost similar.
Just a quick side note on it. This was a debate, and there's a portion in the Bible where they talk about avoid vain ramblings, avoid vain arguments, and it creates a picture that you should shy away from debates. It's something that you should avoid. And I would hear those sentiments, but Apostle Chiwenga and Evangelist Mparinga, you don't achieve anything with this debate. So is it something also that is good, something that can be applauded, or is something that should actually be avoided in Christian circles, that we call Apostle T.F. Chiwenga from another church, and Evangelist Mparinga, or Evangelist Marufu, or Mazibaba Masango, we gather and we start debating. We should just go and preach. Why should we be debating when the Bible tells us to shun this type of arguments?
Because we have the Spirit of God, we must know. And because we want to know, we must have the Spirit of God. So the idea of having debates and going in onto the mountain of debate and teaching each other is something that you even find in the Bible. In the book of Acts, you find Paul also going to debate and teaching each other about the Word of God. You find this, actually, it's only in our culture where debate is not something that is highly praised. In all other cultures, when you go to Western countries, they are far advanced in terms of ideas. And how do they come to these ideas? It's because these ideas are tested. Test the idea. Yes. Okay, but how about this? How about that? How about that? And then the idea becomes strong.
Contestation of ideas.
Yes. And when you're debating, you're not debating so that you hold with your opinion. Your opinion then becomes stronger, or then you learn something new, because everyone can teach you something. So, these things must be done. And I don't think that the debate that you guys had is the last one. We would want you to have many other debates.
I think at that level. No. And I think ndikuda kuti kuda draw attention yako usambokotsera panyaya iyoyo.
Yes.
I think ne level ratakashandisa. Yeah. I think there was also maturity. Yeah, because we started to focus on my issues, not on ourselves. So I wish if Apostle is also comfortable for another platform, or another doctrinal issue. I think takata Sabbath. Can I need a party 2? It's fine. Can I pass in a pampani need to scrutinize nyaya 1844, nyaya Ellen White, nyaya Chimiro Wakafa Waripi. There are a lot of nyaya second coming. There are a lot of issues, and we are comfortable. Going to background then to.
Was that your first time doing a debate?
No. We've been doing it. Tinata tine platform in the Bible Truth podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, so we did our first engagement takaita na Apostle Marwa from Beshnaf Bridge, and we discussed takaita tongues. To find out my tongues, because it's because they are telling my tongues. And Apostle now was representing my tongues and saying, "In I know my tongues it's not tower, but I'm are Syrio."
Yes.
So we takaita na account takaita na brother Gabriel takaita from a lot of denominations, and I think also God was preparing me for that better platform because we had already engaged. So maybe we're focusing on the real issues. So I think if Apostle, because it's a center of attraction,
yes,
if he's comfortable, we can do another one. It depends with him.
And also what I would want to know is, how was the experience of that debate, Kwamuri? Was it challenging, or it was just like
it was challenging because it's like a burden. Yes, Kwapauri. I'm coming from a church and in a lot of people, in organized church. And in the end, of course, is Evangelist Marufu represent what I believe. But this church and I've dismissed. Could I church guys are worried? Didn't you know what convictions are? Urgu Tarisa Basara Piwa, you look at yourself
and you cry.
And you say, I'm not worthy. Why me? Because there are better people. I think if I would analyze from now, maybe he was going to be a better person.
No. For me to debate, Apostle Chiwenga, he has to go to school first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he has to go to school. Come on.
Okay, of course.
He can debate with my students. Yes.
Okay. Yes. I think she has to go for that. But what I
no, in the same way, I can debate with you.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But no,
he has to go to school.
Yes, listen, my point is now, you see, they are always better people than you. When we are doing these things, I mean, Evangelist Marufu, I know prison is better than me. But I'm going to the platform. They know for us. So it was, to me, I think when we imba him, it's Christ in songs, tikana mutoro warema wapiwa na Mwari. Rinda wakatira, rinda usashora.
Yes.
So parema kuti Mwari anogona kutendera kuti bedi niyo iyo pauri. And I think ana Isaiah ma prophets wakanga waine that ningirine kuti why me Lord? Kusei Mwari kuti aiwa ndiwo wandasarudza, ndakusarudza ndakakuziva uchiri mudumbu ramai. So tine mafambira tine we are not perfect, saka unongochiituka reflect kuti I think I'm not worthy. I'm not the man. So
vanhu vanoona Evangelist Marufu vari strong vachiti simba iwe muchazofamba muchiti muvhangeri vakachema hanzi Jesu nekusimba kwese kwaakaita nekutyisa nekukomanda vandalife Bible rinozongoti Jesus wept.
Jesus I also Jesu akasvika paakazoti baba kana achibvira mukombo uyu ngaupfure. I think pane pokuti it was a burden. You can see also my numbers akaattractwa. Ini ndakabvisa phone ndakanzi, but after ndakanda kuona and you could see kuti chinja chiri chombe. So there is a moment of you and God. Muri two.
Yeah, but look, I mean, when I look at, when I analyze the debate, looking at the points that you brought into the debate, the points that were brought by Prophet Chiwenga, you really exchanged blows. It was 50-50. It's only that. And I mean, it happens with everyone, even if you're a top scholar in any area. And when you're going for a debate, you can never prepare enough. You can never come to a point where you say, even if when you know all the arguments, you know the main presupposition, they can never come a point where you say, ndakuziva mind up. No, it's never like that. You always go into a debate. There's never a point that will come when you say, I've mastered it, so I'm ready. No.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Then, Professor, I would want to ask, of course, you're Mr., but I'll call you Professor because of the language that you are using.
I think I appreciate that.
Zico is a journalist.
He's a journalist.
Yes. But this one, self-anointed journalist, we taught ourselves these things. Okay. Hopefully, we'll go to school and the credentials. But looking at co-organizing debate here.
Well, in terms of the structure of debate, look, I'm going to judge it too harshly, but again, we mustn't judge it too harshly because it's the first of its kind. In terms of structure of debate, to be honest, it was rubbish. It was rubbish in that there was no proper point of debate.
Okay.
So when you look at the opening remarks, one is coming from Bulawayo to Harare, one is coming from Harare going to Bulawayo. They're on the same road, but they're approaching it from different. One is doctrinal, one is theological.
What's the difference?
Okay, so it's like varum ground one, Mwaru tamba tennis, Mwaru tamba golf.
Okay.
Both are sports. Yeah. So in terms of structure and in terms of point of debate, and if we were to ask you, my debate anyaechi.
I think the theme is there. We were trying Sabbath.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's
and it's very clear. I mean, when you look at it, you understand. Sabbath. But when you say Sabbath, it's too big a subject to discuss, to debate about. No, it's like, I mean, you are preachers. You can't go and say grace. It's too big a subject. So in any form of discourse, in any form of debate, you must have a subject and you must narrow it down so that it's poignant. It is a point. It is a sharp point where you are saying, one is saying yes to this, one is saying no to this.
So if from your opinion, what do you think was supposed to be the talking point on the Sabbath? Like, what was supposed to be the heading? What's the objective?
He was debating on the Sabbath in the New Testament.
Yes.
Yeah. He said, okay, you're debating on the Sabbath on the New Testament. Very good. So what is the point of debate? Well, the Sabbath in the New Testament.
The Sabbath in the New Testament.
Yes. Apostle Chiwenga was debating on believers in the New Testament are not supposed to keep the Sabbath because the Sabbath is an old covenant. So hapana point of contact.
Okay.
Yeah? When you're doing a debate, let's say you're debating about democracy as a method of ruling, as a political theory.
Yes.
So you say democracy is right, democracy is wrong. You have a point of debate. Democracy. What are you saying about Sabbath?
When you were organizing with Apostle T.F. Chiwenga prior to that debate, did you have a discussion to arrive at a point that we want to discuss about this in final detail, not just saying the Sabbath, Apostle Chiwenga versus Evangelist Marufu, and we've got a scary fire in the background.
Yeah. I think that's not going to Skype because probably we are looking at the intentions. Yeah, because pamuri kuda kuya handisi kuziva kuti taida kunge tichiuya kuti tinosvika ipapo here. But nyaya takangoita isusu takawira no debate redu theme yedu Sabbath yatichataura from origin tichadiscussa zvese kubva kuorigin tichatasawo futi muNew Testament kuti chafamba sei, and we tried to do that. But I think paine loopholes because even ukatasa debate redu yaifana kungoita only 3 hours over a pair.
Exactly.
But things were also changing as we were things were changing.
This is what I think, Professor. Maybe because usually in school or when companies want to recruit, let's say a number of recruiters, and they engage other independent parties to come and do a psychometric test or whatever that they would do. I thought it maybe, from what you said, Apostle T.F. Chiwenga and Evangelist Marufu was supposed to engage a third part who is independent, who would draw up arguments for them, draw up the point of discussion. Maybe a professor or a Udakachepa or a Zigo or someone else. So these guys, they prepared a fight amongst themselves. And appointed referees. Now let's fight.
And not in the same ring. Because when you listen to Apostle Chiwenga's point of debate, it was very clear what he was talking about. It was very clear. Believers in the New Testament, they are not obliged to keep the Sabbath. He goes on. There is no one in this whole world who can keep the Sabbath. The Sabbath was nailed to it was very clear. the evangelist also, his points were very, very clear. What was his point? Oh, Jesus kept the Sabbath, the apostles kept the Sabbath, the Sabbath was changed in history, very clear. But when you look at these points, they don't have a points of convergency. So they are not talking to each other. They are not debating with each other. They are debating above each other. So when you look at the opening remarks that were given by the apostle, and when you look at the response that came in from Evangelist, they're not talking to each other.
Yes.
It's like this one is coming with his denominational point of view. This is what we believe, and this one is also coming with this denominational point of view. This is what we believe. There is no negation. There is no affirmation. I affirm this, I negate this. And that's why it also took 6 hours, because if you are biting a subject that you cannot chew, there was no resolve also, because you were biting a subject that was too big to be chewed. Yeah.
I see. So we are going to get into the importance of this exercise very, very soon. I'm going to ask you, Professor. And viewers, I want you to take note that we'll be engaging more with the professor more than with Evangelist Marufu. So don't say that we sidelined the Evangelist.
Ndichiri under the bus is fine.
Evangelist had plenty of time, 6 to 7 hours. So today we are relieving him of most of the engagement.
Okay.
Now, what is the importance of having a sound system? I mean, the equipment.
Yes.
Because I saw from the way that I looked at it, Apostle T.F. Chiwenga was very organized.
Of course.
There was a good camera for the presenter, a good microphone for someone who's going to read the Bible, a good camera for him as well.
Yes.
And then we come to our own. You know my nickname.
Okay.
Mama unzanzi Mbeumo.
Who is that?
A player of Manchester United.
Okay.
Maybe you would ask the evangelist.
So what you see also as the debate start is you see that the apostle was prepared in terms of the setting.
Yes.
The aesthetics. And wow. He was not just prepared in terms of intellectual material.
Yes.
The set.
Yes.
How he sat, how he was looking at the camera, holding the mic. The Bible is in view.
It's like in Alpha
Not
Male.
just that. In Alpha Male. Not just that. He also came with company.
Yes.
You've got this guy was supposed to be a moderator, but he was not just a moderator. He was a hallelujah corner. Hallelujah corner. He was a cheerleader. When the apostle would bring in a point, he would say, yes, exactly. And that's right. But he's a moderator, right? And then you've got someone who's reading the Bible for him. So the apostle can focus on the argument. Yes. He can focus on what he wants to bring.
And even instill confidence.
Yes.
I see a lot of people, they mock Apostle Chiwenga when he's presenting whatever he's presenting. He has two people by his side.
Yes.
Someone laughing at his jokes, whether they are dry or what.
But they're laughing.
They have to laugh. Makandiwa prophet.
Yeah.
He also has his two. There will be Prophet Ubidenjo, Pastor Chris.
Yeah.
And he came with that concept on that
set.
Beumo
on the other hand. When you look at the set, the set where he was in, it was like he's in a mortuary. It was like in a mortuary. And when you look at the presentation, the camera is right straight to the apostle.
Yes.
The moment the apostle comes in, the evangelist comes in, camera in padenga, you are passing. And then when you look at all those guys that came in with the apostle, well dressed, neatly dressed, and Murambu, camera mzoro wakakura kunge mombe. Even if you remember points akasimba, your presentation, so much green, go and bend that thing, mouse somewhere there. And when you look at the apostle, there's a glass of water, there is an iPad there is a towel there, and he's holding his mic, he's holding his Bible. This one, however,
he was not holding his mic like
no.
He was holding
like that properly. So when you just look at those aesthetics, when you just look at that packaging in debate, I mean, he's coming straight up, you are coming from face down. You're done. Even when my points are the throne of God, you are done because human beings look at that. Those are things that we look at in communication. So when you look at that, and if you have to give points, on terms of presentation, data and points of debate, that's another thing altogether. That's another thing altogether. Because not all that glitters also is gold. But where they did well, we must also applaud. In terms of you guys did bad. I don't think that the set that you had and all that you had really inspired confidence of people who were prepared to have that kind of debate. That's what I think.
And I don't think it's because they didn't have the equipment, because they...
Why was Namato?
You prepared for 2 weeks without answering the Namato.
Papa, we thought, I had also a technical team.
Yes.
So I thought they were doing... I'm also worried with quality. You see, we do programs in quality like the Remachinda quality. We're doing Bible Truth podcast. There's quality. So we thought, because I was in the arena now, so I didn't want to divert my attention. So I thought everything was being done well.
But do you think there was an interference of a third hand to some extent?
I needed support. I think support system yangu get weak. That is not how many committee. I don't know. It was like David facing Goliath.
Yes.
It was like David.
That's how I saw it. Because when on 1 Samuel 17, when David is going to face Goliath, he is alone. Goliath does not come alone. Many people don't know this, but he comes with his arm bearer. And this was typical in warfare that we find within the ancient world, where mighty soldiers would have an arm bearer. So and this is what you find. He was his own arm bearer. He was reading the Bible for himself. He was his hallelujah corner. He was when the apostle had all that. And I think it's something that people should learn also from what the apostle and his team did to be able to have that team that then also supports you. It's very important.
Julius Malema, when you're Hans, why when you get into government, are you going to appoint your friends or family members or what into positions of power? Yes, when you hunt, you should hunt with your dogs, your own dogs.
Of course.
This is what the evangelist maybe was supposed to do. You're supposed to hunt.
Exactly.
But I think there's always next time, and I don't doubt the capabilities here. Team Eba SDA, Blafio.
I think I know. Since it was no. I think Apostle Chiwenga we are na project JRM was rallying behind him. It was a different set with me. Because I've announced that I'm going alone. Because they were not comfortable in the first place. Because confidence, I'm coming as an evangelist, not trained.
Yes.
I'm not trained.
Yes.
And in a background, even now, I've assessed Marufu's theological background.
No. But look also. When a scholar listens to you guys, you can see gaps in both of you. Both of you, you can see that but a theological training.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just you. I mean, Chiwenga himself does not know the difference between Israel and a Jew, and he uses these terms interchangeably. And it's not a big thing, but to a trained scholar who understands the difference between Israel and Judah. When you say the children of Israel, when you say the Jews. For a trained scholar, I mean, these you're talking about 900 years of difference.
If we had both of them here in the studio, Apostle T.F. Chiwenga and Evangelist Marufu, both of them not being scholars or theologians, I would definitely know that Apostle T.F. Chiwenga would say there's no need. Apostle T.F. Chiwenga would say you can't come with your credentials here. You don't need to be a theologian. You don't need to be a scholar. Maybe from me, I would want you to know.
No.
Do you
You will not
appreciate-
say, I know you won't say that because I think my sentiments are apostle. They would give me wepamusoro. You know, even nditanga chinichi ndakandisiri qualified. I was once a puppy, so I wasn't qualified. I think or someone at that higher level. So I'm saying probably. Yeah, I know, people were supporting me through my prayers, and also encouraging me to don't worry, we are rallying behind you. But in the studio, I think of course, in the studio, mama is some lacking. Was later on mvura. Ndaizoita yekuti ndisirewo was also katasa video ndazoti ndakandisiri well also because ndandineka coffee andinayo ndekosa saka ndaida munhu andondisira mvura ine lemon kuti ndikanga ndakosora paipo ndoita sei kukosora kwangu asazonzika because my mics aimutwa kana uya kutaura saka ndopa ndaizombotora mukana udi ndopa ndaizomubuda ndakosora ndainobva ndanzi katya vangera akosoreswa nemapoints
But as we close, I want people to understand you very well. Do you mean that the evangelist is not qualified? Because he himself is now saying, as you can hear him speaking, saying, and this is qualified, I'm not qualified. And now people when they are watching the evangelist, they will say, you're not qualified, my guy.
I don't think it's about qualification. It's about availability. Are you available? And when you look at many people who are leading churches today, they are not Bible scholars. They are people who have availed themselves for the work of the Lord. So there is a quotation that I love and hate at the same time, which says, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies those that he calls. I have a love and hate relationship with that quotation because at one point it is very, very true that when you look at people who have done great things for God, they didn't have theological training. They didn't have, they
like this one.
But he is a practitioner who has given himself to the study of the Word of God. So when you listen to him, yes, it only takes people like us, scholars, who then pick, knowledge gaps. But I mean, when he goes and preaches in these churches, people are blessed. When I listen to Apostle Chiwenga, you say, I mean, you're blessed, but you see those missing gaps, and these missing gaps are not really points of error, but it's just knowledge gaps where you say, okay, oh, okay, I miss up, but the message comes through. So I mean, you must never, but you are available, and I think that's what God wants, for people to avail themselves for the work of the Lord. And because you availed yourself for the work of God, I mean, when you look at the numbers, when you just look at the numbers that you and the apostle reached, and it was close to 500,000. I mean, how many people have an opportunity? How many scholars do you know who have an access to over 500,000 people? You don't. So you mustn't look at the lack of theological training and a theological certificate and say, because I don't have this, therefore I'm disadvantaged. No, avail yourself. And what you did, you guys, I really applaud.
Zico is a journalist. Thank you. Yeah, I think it also comes to when you believe God have called you. So I think also we specialize more on the side of spirituality. Kuti azvitwe nehondo kana nesimba zvinoitwa nemweya waMwari. So ndinofunga kuti pandinotoenda paya zvimwe zvacho zvinozoitwa even ndazogara ndichiteera ndinoona kuti maybe it was no longer me speaking. Ana Jesu musatya kuti muchataure asi mweya acha. So pane zvimwe zvatakataura paya I think also zvanga zviri above us.
So you also see the lack of theological training and scholarly background in the methodologies that they used. Yeah, like the analogy that I gave, that they don't have a point of convergence. They are on the same road but coming from different approaches. When you look at, when you listen carefully, and I have listened to this debate many times as I was preparing for this, the evangelist is very, very theological in his approach. The apostle, however, is very, very doctrinal in his approach. So one is coming in from a very, very strong doctrinal approach with a conceptual framework with very strong boundaries. Yeah?
Material side, Baba. But doctrinal and theological. What's the difference?
One is talking about the what, the other is talking about the why. Now, so...
I did too.
Am I showing off?
Yeah, no. That's why. I think that's why you're here. Yeah.
So the apostle is really, and he said it in the interview, that this is doctrinal, and he has had many debates on this doctrinal point. So when you look at his approach, he approached in a doctrinal. It's a strong belief, right? It's a strong belief that has boundaries. So when you look at the boundaries that he has, he will challenge you and say, you don't have anyone who has the ceremonial obligations that come with observance of the Sabbath. No one has it. No one is bringing in sheep to worship. No one is doing that. And when people are saying that, it's coming in from a frame, a very, very strong conceptual framework which fits in the doctrine. Whereas you are not coming in from a doctrinal point. You're coming in from a theological point. And a theological point has systems. Yeah? You'd say, okay, and you can follow it in the same way you can follow the apostle. So you can follow it to say, okay, I'm going to straight into the New Testament, right? I'll start with Jesus. You go with Jesus, you highlighted Jesus. You went to Matthew chapter 24, highlighted Jesus' prophecy, forecasting is going to be there. You went in and said, you went in, you looked at the apostles. Did the apostle keep the Sabbath? You went in, you highlighted Paul and said, okay, post-New Testament, let's go into history. You went into history. At many sources, man. That's a very, very theological approach. Whereas the apostle is not going into, a theological conversation. He's coming in with a closed doctrinal position. I mean, you can't destroy it because it's a frame. Yeah.
Okay.
And the way you want to converse is then you go into, you hook it also with
But it was the issue. No, I think if you have an open mind, this
that's what I see actually is also this different from preaching.
Secondly, both of them were very, very homiletical. Both of them were very preachy. Homiletical. Both of them were very preachy. So when you look at the apostle also, there was a time when he stopped debating and he was preaching to us. And he also, especially at the end, in the last 45 minutes, he stopped debating. He's preaching. I was like, guys, stop preaching.
Debate.
And also to note that a debate is academic in nature.
Yes.
It's different from preaching.
Yes.
And where needs be, the apostle was very vicious to an extent. Whereas the evangelist was harmless as a dove.
But poisonous.
He
was.
So there's a spirit of a debate.
He was. But, I mean, there is a point that he says, when you went in for the mother church, of course, there are things, I mean, all these are facts that we also need to verify. I mean, he comes up with a very strong point when he says, this is the Roman Catholic. Yeah. If the Roman Catholic Church, they are the ones who were handed over the gospel by the apostles, we'll verify those facts.
Yes.
But that's a strong point to say, look, you guys are done. Jesus kept it, the apostles kept it, it was changed in history, you are done. And the apostle is also coming in, and he's coming in also with a very, very strong doctrinal position. But both of you were very, very preachy. You didn't approach it academically. You're being very preachy. At most, you'd forget the point of debate, and at most, you reach out to the audience like you want to convert us.
Ladies and gentlemen, this show is for everyone. Don't mind the chirungu chakanyanya chakawandisa chikutarwa na professor. I'll be there to interpret it for you. Ndongo kulesena and then muvangeri vanobva vanyazokupa ichi neutesve one wamai atimasvara. So on our next episode, we are going to be looking at the content of the debates, what was being said, where's the show is the VAR. We are going to verify it, we are going to analyze it, and where needs to put revelation, we will get revelation either from the evangelist or from the professor himself. For now, what we want to do as we close this session is we want to look at the opening remarks that were made by both the apostle and also the evangelist. So we are going to play this together, and as we go, we are going to be stopping and looking at it in detail.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
That's fine.
Welcome to the much-awaited debate, where we're going to be discussing or talking about the Sabbath. Here we've got esteemed and known men of God, Apostle Chiwenga and Evangelist Marufu. Tichange tiri pano pachitaurwa nhau dzine chekuita nekunamata. So brace up. This is going to be a long ride. Hope you buckle your seats. Tell a sister to tell a sister. Tell a cousin to tell another cousin that the train has started to move. So we are going to have Apostle Chiwenga and Evangelist Marufu in this debate. And to help me moderate this debate, I'm going to have my brother Murambui, who I'm going to give a time to give us a rundown of the instructions of the debate. Mukoma Murambui, please take this time.
Mukoma Murambui, I'm mchitaura.
What a super green eel. I mean, look at that. Look at the difference. That's a world of difference.
I think also Younger freeze with that point.
Yes.
Yes. Is just trying to fix.
Yeah.
Probably he might be having
Even
network challenges.
two types of.
But however, I'll go ahead to give a rundown of the structure of the program of our debate. So we are going to have two segments. And the first one, we are going to have a segment where the panelists are going to bring their defense towards the subject in question, the Sabbath. The panelists are going to be afforded 6 minutes each to lay out their views concerning the subject in question. This is going to be the layout of the first segment. But prior to that, they're going to have an opportunity to have their opening statements or remarks. And then, throughout the program, we're going to have a second segment where we're going to have a question and answer segment, where it's going to be structured as follows. We're going to have 2 slots in the second segment where Apostle Chiwenga is going to portray or ask questions to Evangelist Marufu, and each question has got a maximum of 3 minutes. The program, we're going to have a second segment
from the way that they structure
where we are going to
they are going to
have
give
a question and answer
and then the second they are going to give a question and answer.
Where it's going to be structured
on that defense,
as follows.
Already asking
we're going to have 2 slots in the second segment.
I'm going to ask Evangelist
where
Marufu,
Apostle Chiwenga is going to portray or ask questions to Evangelist Marufu. And each question has got a maximum of 3 minutes. And the answer has got a maximum of 6 minutes. Meaning, per question, we've got a slot of 9 minutes. If the panelist who's asking the question spends, let's say, 1 minute to answer the question, it means the other panelist has a maximum of 8 minutes to answer the question.
And you can see at that moment
And
we're
then,
back now.
During the slot B of the second
Marufu is
segment,
back.
we're going to have Evangelist
Chiwenga.
Marufu then asking Apostle Chiwenga his 4 questions in the final
Where
slot.
did you get that green
And
so
that
far?
is going to be the structure of our debate. So, Koma Mrambwi, you may come through and give us a layout of the expected instructions of the
Look at the
debate.
difference of the camera angles. Eh?
Yes, he's looking sideways.
He's looking sideways.
Okay, thank you.
Down.
Okay, thank you. We are sorry that I think we got cut
On a
initially
mouse here, so far.
when we wanted to give the rules of the debate,
Start by
which
apologizing.
I am going
We are
to
sorry.
outline now. In fact, the rule number 1 is that of mutual respect. We have agreed that there will not be personal attacks in the debate, number 1. Then number 2, we are going to stick to the topic of the Sabbath. Then we will not get into other topics. Then the other rule is that we won't have any personal attacks. In this one, we are basically going to be studying the Bible for spiritual enrichment, and then we are going not to do any name calling, whether it's the name of the church that the 2 panelists belong to. I know they belong to different churches, but we are not going to do any name calling. We are going to stick
She's not
to the
looking at the
Bible.
camera.
Our discussion
Still
will
looking
be
sideways.
Bible based. So basically those are the rules.
Thank you, Brother Mrambwi. Those who may want to know, my name is Chengetai, and I'm also going to be your co-host of the debate. So I'm going to also give Evangelist Marufu time to greet our viewers so that you see that the Evangelist Marufu is here with us. I'm going to give him time to just greet our viewers.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. Look at that headroom there. My doubt is there.
Okay, whilst Evangelist Marufu
I don't know Nonandi now.
is just fixing out his gadget, I will give this time to Apostle Chiwenga.
Look at that now. Look at that. That is a comparative, Baba.
Who is also our bishop. We thank you.
They actually thought you were using a gadget, like a phone.
Yeah, they actually thought I
Some
was
people
using
are
a
not
gadget.
comfortable with the word debate. The word debate does not mean war. No. Debates are simply discussions where opposing views are discussed and contested to come up with a superior idea or a superior outcome or the correct outcome. There are academic debates and political debates in various spheres of life, and there's nothing wrong with the word debate. We are certainly not seeking to fight or to win this debate. We don't come here to win. We come here to elucidate on doctrinal issues so that the truth of God as contained in the Holy Scriptures may come out. So I'm looking forward to this debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Apostle Chiwenga. I'm going to leave this time to Evangelist Marufu to greet our viewers.
Look at your body language. Fidgeting.
It's a discussion. So we are going to look into issues. Finally, Tasanga na Apostle Mwari, what it is, we're excited. So let's go and see.
You can pause.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Marufu.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Now, if you look carefully at their opening remarks, the apostle says some people are not comfortable with the word debate.
Yes.
And the reason why he says that is because over and over time, the evangelist had been stressing the point that it's not a debate. It's a discussion. So what I would want to know from you is there a difference between a debate and a discussion? Because if there is, it is definitely going to shape how these guys are going to look at whatever that they are going to do. At that debates are meant to have a conclusion at the end. Same with the discussion, you need to have also a conclusion. But the attitude that we have between a debate and a discussion, I think, is there a difference?
Yes, there is a world of difference. And you can see that he came prepared for a discussion.
Yes.
Which was wearing a debate uniform. Yeah. And that one came in a debate uniform. Into a debate. But when you look at what they're doing, for me, it's just semantics. It's a play of words. He's using the word discussion. The apostle is using the word debate. But they give a disclaimer in that it's a healthy debate where both of them are coming to learn from each other. It's not going to be dirty. It's not going to be name calling and it's a debate. And by that, a debate has 2 points. One that is affirmed and one that is negated. The very point that is affirmed is the point that is also negated. Yeah, and again, like I highlighted, when you look at the structure of it, it's really an open-ended debate, and at the center of that open-ended debate is the idea of the Sabbath. As to what about the Sabbath, it was left to the audience to then say, what is this debate about? So when you look at the opening remarks again by the apostle, he was very, very clear on his points of debate. And when he responded, he did not even speak to what the apostle had highlighted. He went in to his points of discussion. Yeah. So debate discussion for me, when you look at what's going on here, it's really semantics. It's just a play of words.
They were just
yeah. So they say in English, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck,
it is definitely
it's definitely a duck.
It is definitely a duck. Yes, we can.
I'm then going to leave Apostle Chiwenga to bring his opening statements for the debate.
This guy carefully chooses his words. Opening statements.
Thank you, Bishop.
Look at that.
How much time I have? I can have the time.
Brilliant.
Yes, you've got 15 minutes, Apostle.
All right. Yes, we thank God for today. So many people were very expected and looking forward. I want to start by clarifying that this debate was long overdue, and I'm finally excited that it's happening. It is premised on a position that we do not see eye to eye. Myself and Evangelist Marufu, and of course we represent institutions. And saying that I come from Jesus Revelation Ministries is not name calling, or that Evangelist Marufu comes from the SDA.
Side by side.
Okay, I see.
We have held a very strong position from the beginning that those who preach that there is a requirement from God that believers should observe the Sabbath. That position is erroneous, and it's also heretic.
Okay, you need to pause that. We need to look at that. Okay, so the apostle here says that position is erroneous, and it is also heretic.
Strong words.
Those are very, very strong words. Okay. And then the apostle is really positioning himself. And when you look at it, he is what may be called a radical dispensationalist. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. These are people who believe that God will save people according to times and according to covenants and their divisions of time. Yeah. We'll explain that when we get into it. Now,
sure.
But that point when you say, again, theological language, yeah, when you say that point is erroneous, We understand that. When you say it's heretical means something else.
What's the difference? Erroneous and heretic.
Erroneous is a point of error. Okay. Heretic is a denial of faith.
Okay.
Yeah? So, what you see about the Sabbath, because this debate about the Sabbath, like I highlighted earlier, it's not Marufu and Chiwenga who have started this debate. People have been debating about this subject for over 700 years. Yeah? But no one has ever said those who believe in the Sabbath or those who believe in Sunday are heretics. A heretic is a person who denies faith. Let's say you are saying there is no God. That's when you say heretic. When you say there is no command in the New Testament to adhere to Sabbath observance, that's not a heretic.
That's error.
It's not even an error. It's a denominational position. It's a belief that is different from yours. It can never be called a heretical position. It can't. Heretic is too strong because there are many people from Catholics and Orthodox and Protestant who debate about it. So heretical is not. It does not describe doctrinal difference. Yeah, it doesn't describe that doctrinal difference. So what you see is a doctrinal difference. It's not a heretical position, right? If I come and say the Holy Spirit does not exist and God does not exist, I'm a heretic.
Okay.
But if I say I don't believe in the gift of speaking in tongues, that it comes from the Holy Spirit, that's erroneous.
Yes. If I say that I don't believe in the Holy Spirit, I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in speaking of the tongues, that's, yeah, I mean, you are a negator, you are a heretic. Yeah. So what you see within the development of the Christian church is you have different doctrinal positions and different positions of emphasis within doctrines. Yeah. So if someone comes in and says, I believe in baptism by immersion 3 times, that's not a heretic.
That's erroneous.
That's erroneous. If someone says, I believe in baptism by immersion once, that's not error. That's not a heretic. What you see within these 2 different beliefs on baptism are different positions. Whilst one position may be in error, because the position is in error does not make it heretical.
But if someone now comes and say, I don't believe in baptism,
you're
that's
a
now
heretic. You're a heretic. You don't believe in anything. So the apostle, I'm not sure if he knows the difference between erroneous and heretic. But that, for us scholars, is a sign that says, okay, red flag, red flag. Because for us scholars, theological terminology is very, very, very important. So what you then find there is when you're talking about the day of worship, you're looking at a matter of discipline. It's a matter of doctrine. It's a matter of ecclesiastical practice. When we say ecclesiastical practice, we are saying church. Yeah, because does not necessarily mean that it's heretical. It might be an error, rightly so, but heretic now within theological terminology, as it is defined within theological terminology, it means something else. And on this one, when you're doing fact check, the apostle is very, very wrong. Very wrong.
All right. So what I think we should do, abandatitika player to adadita one, nini I'll cut it on the point because of our time. Because but if inyango magudata kana time edase, yagwana indicates. Okay. But we'll start from this point.
Yes.
On the next stage.
Okay.
Much better.
So Chiro ya so that's the balance.
You have heard viewers, Apostle Chiwenga makes claims and statements that no one in this New Testament era would evident era or content. Also need to address that this debate is being received by our audience. So Shona chat as will mix Shona and English.
I talked in the
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone. So, Evangelist Marufu, you can take it away. 15 minutes of your time.
later signal. But you're doing well.
No. Opening remarks, he is leading by more than.
According to Jesus, 11 to verse number 15, you know, to number 16, verse 11 to verse number 14. Naizvo takabva chakoni chikepe tikaramira samatoki fume mangwana tikaenda Filipa guta guru renyika yeMakedhonia raiva koroni yeRome. Saka ubva kuseri kuJerusalem vakanga vaenda kuRome.
Yeah, that point. Now, the evangelist understands that it is a colony of Rome. He lays it well that this was a colony of Rome. Yeah, and he brings in a wonderful point here to say that look, you cannot say that this was a traditional cultural experience which needed synagogues. Here they are in Rome, and I'm not sure if you highlighted the idea that it was open worship, and he highlights that this was a colony in Rome. But as he goes on to explain his point, he then does a misapplication, because he then applies that to say it was in Rome. No, it was not in Rome. Yeah. So the fact check there is, you are right that it was a colony of Rome, but it was not in Rome. So Zimbabwe was a colony of Britain. Yeah. And when someone then came to Salisbury, even though there is a small city in England called Salisbury, because someone was in a colony of England, you then cannot conclude and say England. It's very clear. You've got it, but in your explanation, again, it's not factually correct that he went to Rome. He went to a colony of Rome. It's correct that it was not in Jerusalem. Correct, but it's not correct that it was in Rome. So when you
point subject to the Sabbath.
No, the point was it was very important, because there are people who then say the keeping of the Sabbath that you find within Jerusalem is within the cultural custom. Yeah. And this is the point that I thought Apostle will highlight more, but he does not touch it. Yeah, to say, because he's so fascinated in negating doctrinal position, so fascinated in negating Sabbath observance, and yet he does not realize very good points that then says, no, why chengeta nekuti wanga vari maJudha? Because there's no Jew in his right mind in the first century who didn't observe the Sabbath.
It's like, if I'm getting you correctly, you live in Europe right now, and then more chengeta chisi, which is a traditional Zimbabwean practice.
Exactly.
To chengeta chisi,
exactly. You
but
nailed it.
You are in Europe, and people now ask you, Zimbabweans in diaspora, they kept cheese even nyango vari kuchi
diaspora.
Saka ava vanoa ameno kana zvisu zvakagara muvhangeri.
You can take the monkey out of the bush, but you can never take the bush out of the monkey.
Kuti ana Paulo akachengeta Sabbath vasitombori kune synagogue.
But he nailed it, because it then highlights that this lady Lydia was a Gentile. Yeah. And the picture that we have in our minds when we hear that the person was a Gentile is we think she was black. Nah, she's not. She was not. Yeah.
What was she?
Probably, well, I'm not sure, because I'll be fact checked. I'll need to check that. What was she? But when you look at the province where she was definitely not Italian and definitely not a Jew. Definitely not Italian. Where you find
angari mwana wevu.
But the point that he's raising now is a very, very strong point to then say, outside Palestine, outside Jerusalem, you then find the culture. And his point is, this culture is being adhered to because it is part and parcel of the Decalogue. That is his very point. Where he doesn't get the
apostle was so firm in saying, there is no Sabbath without the holy temple.
Exactly.
So he made the Sabbath about the location.
Yeah.
Whereas the Paul, still he was far away from the temple.
Far away from the temple.
You would keep the Sabbath.
Yeah, and we'll also look at that when we now do fact checks. That do you only observe the Sabbath in a temple? Do we find people adhering to the Sabbath commandment outside the temple. Yeah. So his point again is correct, but his locating this place in Rome is not a fact. You need to correct that.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much to chew here. The professor is actually revealing a lot. I think that is where the part of the VAR Arabic revelation now comes. So because of our time, we cannot take it any more further. Plus, in Evangelist,
we still need some
for
more.
Today.
No. Time I chatted there. But I think it was exciting. And
so what we'll then do now is to then look at the opening statements.
Yes.
And because the opening statements are the ones that are very, very deadly. This is where the apostle missed it also. He gave, wrong things. I will not say, what is the term that he used? He used the term heretic. I will not say he was being heretical. The points where he built in his covenantal theology is built on a wrong premise. Yeah. Okay. So everything that then comes in is also wrong. And then he also came in and brought in some sources. There's a time when he jumped. It was like the apostles are giving the Roman Catholic the mentor to run the church. No! You have more than 300 years there. After the apostles, they were, the disciples of the apostles, which we call the church fathers. Yeah. So there's 300 years difference. But when he's explaining it now, he's trying to push his point. When he explains it, that is,
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. So what we are going to do is this show is going to run for 6 days.
Oh, of course.
And we will be looking at 6 different points, and that will be running concurrently. And we'll be looking at the opening remarks from tomorrow. This was just a highlight of what we wanted to look at. We started with the basics, with the technicalities, and whatever. Remember, this is a fact-checking